Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is my 29-gallon swordtail community tank, and the fish in here are going to be getting some new tank mates. So I have a 10-gallon tank that is going to be Mutt Guppy Tank 2.0, but it currently also has lots of other fish that when I first got them were intended to be there temporarily until they move to their permanent homes, and several of them were intended to be moved to this 29-gallon tank. And I figured I was gonna have moved them all by now, at least maybe a couple weeks ago, but with things that are developing, and I'm actually going to be moving all of my fish pretty soon. So I've kind of put it off since that's going to be happening anyway, but I'll get into that later. But since I'm doing water changes and my hands are going to be wet inside the tanks, I already did a water change of this tank, but I'm going to get my hands wet in that 10-gallon tank. And since I'm going to be moving stuff around, I can try to gather up those fish to move in here, and then I can fix the plants and stuff that I will probably wreck in the process. But alright, so let's move on to that 10-gallon tank. Alright, so this is the 10-gallon tank, which is going to be Mutt Guppy Tank 2.0. I'll mostly be leaving just mostly the guppies behind, but a lot of these other fish are intended to go to other tanks. But they were all put in this tank temporarily, and the ones that I will be moving that were intended for my 29-gallon tank include this male powder blue Dwarf Gourami, the penguin Tetras. There's 4 of them in here. 1, 2, 3, and a fourth. 1, 2, 3. Oh, should be 4 in here. And one of these Siamese algae eaters. And I did have lots of blackbeard algae all on this side right here and on some of the plants, and it's all gone. The Siamese algae eaters do a great job cleaning up blackbeard algae. And also, where is it? This pineapple swordtail female actually had 2 of these. One of them did die, but this one is going to be going to the swordtail tank. And if I can make it happen, I'm going to try to gather up some autosynclus. There is probably at least a half a dozen in here. I don't even remember now, but yeah. So those ones I'm going to try to gather up. And notice this right here, this male swordtail. Look at its sword growing. So this was a subdominant male. Like it was born in the 29-gallon tank. I moved it over here to see if it would, being the only male swordtail, to see if its sword would develop, and it has, without the other male swordtail. So gets to be the dominant male in here when it wasn't in the other tank. Yeah, so I'm going to gather up those fish and move them to the tank, but just before doing that, I mean, yes, this tank is super crowded, but it looks super awesome with all these colorful fish and the variety. Pretty sweet. But alright, let's change the water and gather some fish. So I'm going to do that, bag them up, and show you after I have it bagged up to move over to the other tank. Alright, stand by. Okay, so I managed to gather up everything except for any autosynclus. I'll just leave the autosynclus behind in the 10-gallon for now, but we have the powder blue male dwarf gourami, 4 of the penguin tetras, all of them, 2 Siamese algae eaters, and there's the female pineapple swordtail. So we're going to let them acclimate here for a little bit, and then I will let them go, and then we'll check them out once they are released. So stand by. Alright, the fish are acclimated and have been released. And there's some of them in their new home. There's 3 of the 4 penguin tetras, and there's the 4th. And the powder blue Dwarf Gourami down here. Female pineapple swordtail. And one of the Siamese algae eaters just disappeared behind the dragon stone there. See if it makes its way out. There's the other Siamese algae eater. These are still pretty small. I have a couple others that are a lot bigger. But let's see if they can clean this up. Look at this stem of bacopa here. That's looking pretty bad with that hair blackbeard algae on it. And the Anubias is getting some. And look on this opani wood. But those Siamese algae eaters have cleaned up blackbeard algae in their tanks. So we'll see how they do it in here. Yeah, it's cool. This tank is looking pretty cool with all the community fish, and since I added the plants recently. Alright. Well, that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.